The Secret Confidante. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists love secrecy. Naturally, certain narcissists are particularly secret about the things that they do, as that's part of enabling them to control people by keeping hidden from them activity that otherwise could threaten the narcissist's control over them. An obvious example of that is a mid-range narcissist who is having an affair, so that narcissist keeps that behavior hidden from their spouse, so the spouse doesn't learn of this, thus causing a problem for the narcissist by accusing them of having an affair, threatening to leave, etc. Accordingly, the application of secrecy is utilized by the narcissist to maintain control over the spouse, intimate partner, primary source. Secrecy crops up in lots of narcissists' interactions with other people. For instance, a secret habit of going and visiting strippers or lap dancers, the misuse of funds that are jointly owned, talking to people that you thought that the narcissist no longer had activity with, watching porn where you've disapproved of the same, the taking of drugs, hanging out with people that you're not aware of. There's lots of different ways that the narcissist engages in secret activities. The narcissist does so because they believe they're entitled to do so and they have no accountability towards you with regard to the relationship. Some narcissists put it all out there and don't behave with secrecy, but many do, particularly those that are mid-range and greater. Secrecy is also used in another way by a narcissist as a means of controlling you, by drawing you in to some form of secret with the narcissist to make you feel special. I've explained this in greater detail in a separate video about secrecy if you wish to watch that, but essentially it's often the case that the narcissist will tell you something that is secret to make you feel special, to make you feel set apart, that you're entrusted with this information, and thus that you hold a particularly important place to the narcissist. This can often be done quite early in the relationship. It might be information about the narcissists themselves and isn't necessarily accurate or true. The narcissist just concocts something and says, "Don't tell anybody, but my uncle used to molest me back in the day," and thus you feel that you have been granted access to the inner sanctum of the narcissist to learn about this particular vulnerability. All that the narcissist is doing is using a revision of history to triangulate with you, draw a pity play, and make it seem that you are a confidant of the narcissist for the purposes of, as ever, seeking the prime aims from you. In other instances, it might be a secret about somebody else that the narcissist places with you. Don't tell anybody. This is a very secret matter, but X has been doing Y. Thus, you become privy to information which again may be true, it may be not, but the purpose of investing this information with you is to enable the narcissist to gain control over you by making you feel special. Harry's wife, apparently, has a pair of secret confidants. What is this? Well, according to the enigmatically named web desk of the International News, Harry's wife's secretly confiding in Prince Edward and Sophie. I think your immediate reaction to that would be this noise. What a load of horse shit. As if Harry's wife would be entertained by Edward and particularly by the shielder, Sophie. Sophie has given Harry's wife short shrift in the past. Just 3 instances that come to one's immediate recall are where she glared at her at a particular service, that where she gave her a stony silence in the back of a car, I think at the Queen's funeral, and also of steering Charlotte away from the spider again at the Queen's funeral. Sophie has the measure of Harry's wife and patently doesn't like her, and it's not as if her husband is going to be disloyal and said, "Oh yes, I'll just chat on to Harry's wife, don't worry about it, Mrs. Edward. That's okay, isn't it?" The pair of them will maintain a united front. And therefore, I very much doubt that there is any actual confiding going on. But let's find out a little of what the article tells us and analyse further. Prince Harry and Harry's wife have allegedly reconnected with Prince Edward and his wife Sophie in a bid to make amends with the royal family. The claims were put forward by entertainment commentator Mark Boardman to OK magazine, claiming that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex reach out to the couple as their renewed connection may serve as their gateway back into the royal household. However, an inside source refuted the claims to page 6, stating there's no truth to this speculation. There have been no conversations between the families mentioned regarding the matters being suggested, or, in this case, fabricated, the source revealed. Boardman had also asserted to the outlet that Sophie had consistently been a confidant to Harry. He added that despite a significant age gap, both couples have endured substantial public scrutiny over the years. Moreover, royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams previously told the Daily Express that Harry and Harry's wife had grown close to the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh following the accession of King Charles. Although the claims don't appear to be far-fetched, as an insider revealed that there's been no evidence of the Sussexes actually ever having a falling out with Edward and Sophie amid their estrangement from the royal family. Well, there may not be any evidence of a falling out, but there's evidence that Sophie has a very dim view of Harry's wife. Sophie, you will recall, was very well regarded by the late Queen Elizabeth and was particularly loyal to her, and there's no doubt at all that Sophie will have been disgusted by the behaviour that Harry's wife engaged in. And also Harry. She probably would have been minded to pull his shorts down and give his bottom a smack and make him become a member of the Pink Bottom Brigade. As for Harry's wife, it's evident that she has a clear contempt for her, and therefore the prospect of her being a confidant for Harry's wife is absurd. This might just be the usual tittle-tattle that sometimes is thrown around by certain royal commentators, or it might just be a further attempt by Harry's wife to try and wheedle away into the royal family, with her usual attempts at manifesting. By suggesting that it could happen, she believes that it will happen, which of course is the magical thinking of the narcissist. To my mind, there is no such confiding, but it is not a surprise to find that 1. A narcissist would seek to confide in somebody as part of the way that they would control that individual, and 2, that Harry's wife might make it known that this is taking place in a further attempt to make it actually come true as a consequence of her own magical thinking. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.